Hey everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Revive and Thrive. I had a moment for a second. I just want to thank everyone for coming back to the Saturday, spending your time with us. Welcome to all the newbies that are out there. We are steadily getting new people. We appreciate all of the love and support. We over 420 subscribers for our live. So we love the love and we appreciate it from everyone out there. So just some housekeeping. We're currently streaming live from Facebook from our business page, Fly High NYC, as well as our personal pages. And we're streaming live from IG business page and our personal pages as well. So as always, we love you, IG people. We love to have you comment. We actually look at that after the programming because unfortunately, the platform we use won't allow us to see your comments during the course of the live, but we do go back to look at them. But if you want to participate, you can head over to Facebook or YouTube, and you can see above what those handles are at least for YouTube. So that is great. So let's go ahead with introductions. Hi, I'm your co-host, KG.
Hey everyone, I'm Tamika Elaine.
So today we're talking about an important topic. So hopefully we want to encourage a lot of interactions. We're talking about financial fitness for the future. So we're going to go over some key details that I think will be very good for people, but I want to really provide a disclaimer. We're going to be talking about different financial, tips and things like that. But we're not financial professionals and we're not going to, it may be some investment advice, but it really is up to you if you want to take it or not. So we want to just disclose that, even though I was a FINRA a registered person who provided advice but it was a long time ago. That was like 20 years ago at the start of my career, which I moved from that. So, but yeah, so I can't even speak on that right now, but that's the disclaimer. So what we're going to do, and again, I really want to encourage our our viewers. If you have some tips that you would like to disclose and you think it will be pertinent or a value add for people to know, go ahead and put it in the comments. We would love to see it. And then people can take it with a grain of salt. Again, even people who are commenting, you take it with a grain of salt of any tips that are provided. So let's go ahead. I'm going to start the first section, which is really just go over the basics of budgeting. Now, I'm not quite sure if everyone knows out there, but half of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. So this is a reality that obviously the majority of Americans are, or a good number of Americans are facing. So with budgeting, the whole reason why budgeting, you want to make sure that your income always surpasses your expenses. So if you find that that is not happening month to month, then you may need to have a plan in place. So what I thought that can be kind of interesting for folks to at least disclose some things is that I will go over some key budgeting apps that you may be able to put into your day-to-day. And these are tested, and I looked at and I did some research and looked at different sites. And these are apps that are considered highly rated for different purposes. So I'll go over the purposes, and then I figure I'll give you some alternatives to budgeting apps. If you're not if you don't really care for technology, I'll give you some alternatives as well. Excuse me, everyone. So I figure the apps that I like to talk about for this section, I want to talk about an app that's best for setting goals. I'll talk about an app that's best for tracking your net worth, best for envelope budgeting, So that's it's an old school way of budgeting, but you can do it in an app format. Best for passive saving, and this is all part of the budgeting process. There's an app for best for tracking spending and best for automated investing. And even though we're going to go into like certain aspects of this a little later on, this kind of fit into the realm of budgeting. So for the first app, I would like to just let everyone know about. It's an app called YNAB. It's an acronym for You Need a Budget. So,
Oh, that's so funny.
so you need a budget. So
that sticks.
oh my goodness. Yeah. So hey, this is rated pretty highly for helping you set your goals. So it helps users with figuring out their financial priorities and goals and gives each dollar a job. So, some of the things is that when you're in the app, several features put customers on a path to efficient budgeting, such as goal tracking, reporting on your financial habits and support, and things of that nature. So, in terms of pricing for this, it's a free trial if you utilize it for, I believe it's a month. But after the free trial, it is $15 a month or $99 for the year. So just letting you know, it's highly rated by Forbes. So there's something that you may want to consider. So again, it's called YNAB. You need a budget.
Need a budget.
You need a budget. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the next app. So, sorry, people. I'm a little disorganized today. But this app is a best for tracking your net worth. And it's funny because I actually have this particular provider for some of my investments. It's Empower Personal Dashboard. This particular app is free though. And pretty much it just helps you with tracking your net worth. It has outstanding reporting options, investment management platform as well, and spending tracker. So it really gives you like a holistic view of your whole financial picture. And again, this is a free app. So go ahead and maybe this could be something that could be fruitful for you. And again, it's called Empower Personal Dashboard. So that
we
is
like free.
Oh, what was that, Tamika Lane?
I said we like free, especially when we're trying to be on a budget.
Right, see how that goes? That just goes together like peanut butter jelly. But so the next app, and I'm sorry, everybody. I really sorry about today. Ooh, it's been a night.
You are okay.
So there is an app to help you if you're old school, for helping you with envelope budgeting. And I'll go over that in a bit, what exactly is envelope budgeting. But it's an app called Good Budget. And the cost, there is a free version and there's a version that's $10 a month or $80 a year. And basically, this is highly ranked with experts because it's a time-tested envelope method and it makes it digital. So just so you know, the envelope method, back in the day, people will come in with their check with actual cash and then they'll put in an envelope. Okay, this is for this expense and this is for, for saving. So it's allowing you to do this in a digital form. So if you have a true old soul, maybe this Good Budget app is for you. So it really is rated highly for the whole envelope budgeting aspect. So you may want to look into that. So the next app I want to talk about is for passive saving, the best for passive saving. So this one is called Oportun. So it used to be called Digit, but for whatever.
Okay, I saw that one.
So it's formerly Digit, but now it's Oportun. So there's a free trial with this app, and then after that is $5 per month. So it's rated highly to help you. It takes the set it and forget it approach. So, and that's me, because I just like to just put something on and just let it work for me. So it automates your budget and making saving money less of a hassle. So all you need to do is input how much you want to save. and when you want to hit that mark. And then this app will use machine learning to calculate an appropriate amount to deposit in either your savings account or a retirement account. So you'll tell it where to go, and then you can create custom goals. So this app may be for you if you're the type that you don't want to check in as often, and if you know, trusting the technology to do the work for you. Again, it's OPORTUN, Oportun app. So that could be something for you. So that's for best for passive saving. And then an app that is best for tracking your spending is called Pocket Guard. So there is a free version of this, but it is also a version that is $12.99 per month or $75 for the whole year. So this is Pocket Guard, and it's the best app for tracking spending thanks to it has a simple interface which shows how much money you have, how much your bills are, and how much money is left over. So the app also shows you in a helpful customizable pie chart. So if you're a visual person, that really speaks to you. So which expenses are taking up most of your budget. So they put it in a more visual way of seeing things so you can make your adjustments within the app. So again, that's called Pocket Guard, and that's best for just tracking your overall spending. And oh, is everything? Oh, because something happened to my computer. So everything look good on your end, Tamika?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool. We're just gonna roll with it. So the next I'm gonna talk about is Stash really quickly. So this one is best for automated investing. So I think a lot of people are familiar with Stash. So it's just built for active investing, and it could into your budget and makes investing possible for everyone. So it takes in consideration your budget, and they can actively invest into certain things or parameters that you put into place. So Stash can be good for you. You know, it's investing as well as when thinking about budgeting, you may want to use an app like Stash, if not Stash. So Stash is either it says either $3 or $9 a month. So I'm guessing with the $9 a month, you may get more features than just paying for the $3 app. So those are the apps I'll just go over today with budgeting. But in case if you're just not into the whole technology and you want some other alternatives, more technology. There is a budgeting software. If you want something a little bit more bulky and maybe something computer-based versus on your phone, you know, there's old school QuickBooks or Quicken that actually has budgeting tools within it that may be of use to you. If you're old school in terms of spreadsheets. So, you know, there's also, you can build your own spreadsheet, and typically a nice method that I like to use, I need to use more often, is the 50-30-20 method. So 50% of your basically whatever income that you have coming in, you know, you want to allot 50% towards expenses. So of that income should be for expenses. 30% is for your wants, like what do you like to do if you're going out or whatever else, whatever you want to do. And then 30% should go towards savings. So you can easily put that kind of, of factors within the schedule, into a spreadsheet, and then you can do your own budgeting that sort of way. There also are other kind of apps, expense tracking apps that are specific to just tracking your expenses and alerting you. So if you want something like that versus the whole holistic sense of budgeting, that's also out there for you. And then it's the cash envelope budgeting. That's also an alternative. I already talked about that. So if you're super old school and still deal with a lot of cash, you can utilize that form of budgeting as well. So that's all I had to say about budgeting. And then I'm going to send it over to Tamika Elaine, and she's going to talk about saving strategies that stick now.
Yeah, I think before moving on to savings, I think what's important for budgeting is just not to be afraid to do it. You know, I think you have to, I know. And yeah, I mean, I'm the same way, KG. I mean, I'm not the best, but I do know where my, let's say my areas that need to be improved are.
Yeah.
to be honest, I order a lot. And when I see how much I'm spending on ordering delivery, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I gotta really figure this out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could have a budget for it and try to stick to that budget. But I haven't been as diligent in actually mapping out my expenses. But you can see when you're looking at your bills, you see where that money's going.
Oh,
So I
no.
think just the important part is you just need to be knowledgeable, so that you can utilize, your funds more strategically in some of the areas that we're going to talk about, like saving, right? That's really important.
Yeah.
And later on, we'll talk about investing and retirement planning. So you need to be able to know how much money that you have after all your expenses are met to be able to do some of these things. So I just wanted
Woo.
to
Yeah, and I just want to. It's so bad for me because I'm just thinking like my life, and ever since I had my child, it's just. To be honest, I never had to think about any of this stuff.
right,
BC before child. To be honest, I
right.
was living it up, traveling, do whatever I want. I never had to budget. I just knew everything was in place. Yay! But
Yeah.
yeah, budgeting came more in place when yeah.
Yeah, because now you got that additional amount to feed
Yes.
and making sure all those expenses associated. That's what people often tell me. Oh my gosh, you have a kid, there's so much money, So so even more important to try to, be on top of your finances. So in terms of savings, right? So you've done your budget, with that 20% that you have allocated to savings, you've already, paid off if you have some debt or high interest debt, you want to make sure you focus on those areas first. But I think the simplest way to save, and hopefully most of us are doing it, is just doing automated transfers, right, to a savings account.
Yeah.
That's a kind of set it and forget it type of strategy. But what type of savings account? You want to have one of the high yield interest savings accounts, right? Not just your bank's regular savings account, because you're not going to take advantage of the rates, especially with right now we're in a period of high interest rates. So I've been looking at my savings accounts like, yay, because it's been very beneficial. So those are two simple ways to do that. And KG, you mentioned kind of like that set it and forget it type of strategy. I actually use an app which I'm now considering I may stop using. It's called
Oh.
Capital, Qapital. They now charge for it, but I'm grandfathered in, so it's no fee.
Oh.
But it's one of those savings apps where you can create all the rules, that you can just kind of that if this then that, those type of rules. So I used to have a rule when I was working in the city that anytime I went to, what was it? Shake Shack. Anytime I
Oh.
used my card for Shake Shack, my penalty was to take $2 and put it in my savings. So I kind of that functionality that it has. And then of course it has like the roundup, right? So the round up your change. So I was rounding up every purchase with my card to the next $2. And you can set different goals, which you want to use this money for. So the goal that I had was like vacation. So anytime a trip came around, I already had this pool of money that I would just, transfer back to my account and, use it for that purpose. Now, as I was doing my research and I saw that one you mentioned, what is it? I forget the one you said changed to the French name.
Oh.
Um,
Oportun. Oh.
yeah, but what it was before, I saw somebody say why they stopped using it. They're like, "Oh, well, this doesn't give me any interest." And I'm like, "This is true, right?"
Oh.
Like, you're transferring this money to this account. I don't know if they've changed or increased the functionality since I started using Capital, but I honestly don't want to pay to be able to get interest. I might as well just put it in my in my savings account and maybe find a way to, I don't know. I feel like it's something I have to think about, because I think with that one it's just easier, and I kind of like the rounding up and like tracking my expenses. But we'll see. But that's one thing to consider, just where your money is sitting and making sure you are getting the most gain from it. Then even if you have certain goals, right, you can use a savings goal calculator to help you figure out how much you need to set aside, right? So, basic savings goal calculator is going to have you put in the amount you want, what amount you're starting with, the balance, how much time you need it to grow, and whatever interest rate you are actually earning on your money. And that way you can, just strategically know how much you should be setting aside to achieve that particular goal. Also, if you have some major purchases you want to make, mapping those out. And now we have so many different apps that track pricing, right? There's one that's called, and I didn't know about this one, Analyzer. It's a browser extension that tracks prices on Amazon and will alert you of price drops. I
Oh,
use, yeah, I use Honey browser extension, which does similar thing. Like you can create a drop list for items that you are considering to purchase, and it'll send you notifications when the price goes within whatever range you want of a savings. And then you have other apps like Shop Savvy, like all of these things to help you be able to, save more money that you can actually then defer to either whether you want to save that in your savings account or allocate it to something else. Um, a lot of us women, we like to shop, and I'm always promoting using the Rakuten browser extension just to get cash back. Because to me, I'm like, if I'm gonna spend, I want to get something back, and I love when they have like deals of like 10% cash back. I'm like, oh my yeah, gosh, yes. So to get that, as they call it, big fat check every month of just this cash back from my spending, that's also something that helps at least kind of balance out your spending. You may also want to think of strategies like just delaying purchases. Like if you're a spender, just give yourself 30 days to say like, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna shop for this period of time on these like miscellaneous things. Put it in your cart, leave it. Just ways to help you manage your spending. So those are some tips that I have. It'll be nice to hear if any viewers have tips that they do to try to manage their spending and then also to save, some of those kind of set it and forget it type strategies. So everyone feel free to chime in.
yeah.
But
Definitely. Hello, everyone. I see now that I just saw it because I couldn't see the comments before. I don't know what the heck was going on. So, hello, everyone that's chiming in. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I always ask myself, do I really need this? Jason, what do you mean by that? You really need what? An app or to
no,
see?
whatever the item is that he's thinking to
Oh,
considering to purchase. So kind of like
okay.
you said, the 50, 30, was it 20, right? So
Yeah.
30 are kind of, you said needs, I think is what you
No.
said.
Well, the 30 is the wants.
The wants. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like, do I want to spend this money on this item? I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
yeah, sometimes you have to really, consider like, do I really need this? Not really. And I think in those cases, just leave it in the cart.
Yeah, I
Man.
gotta be more disciplined. At least you know what? I pat myself on the back. At least I don't buy a lot of things outside. It's always
I think, well, I'm not gonna, I feel like they actually say, well, outside might be better, right? Because inside you
online.
have no restriction. You could just be on that
True.
computer and just shopping away. So if you actually
True.
say, I'm going to go make the purchase, it kind of delays it in that sense because it's like, it's not happening today. You kind of have to plan it out. So
Yeah.
in that way, it helps.
Well,
Uh,
well, this next segment will help you guys build some money. So if you are that shopper, maybe we can get that, that 30% of your income, to go up, so you can utilize that to do your whatever shopping that you want. So what this section will I'll go over just briefly is just investing for non-investors. So really people who are new to investing, it's just very very general advice. So one of the things I wanted to talk about is stock market investment. So really, if you know the history of the whole stock market, it's pretty much the fastest and most efficient way to gain or wealth. But you have to be able to handle risk. So some things you need to think about are, what stage of your life that you're in. If I was think if you're in your 20s or even earlier, then I would have probably 100% or close to 100% stock portfolio, but in different segments. And we're going to talk about, as another tip, diversifying. But that is a surefire, or I shouldn't say sure, but that is a great way of accumulating wealth. And if you're thinking of the long goal, long term, is really investing in the stock market, various investments. And I also talked about, yes, stock market, great, but you need to make sure you diversify your portfolio. You should not put all your money into one asset. Like if you're really big and love technology, you shouldn't. That's great, but part of your money, if you want to invest, should be in technology. But you should think about other industries and other assets, asset classes, things of that nature. So definitely diverse your portfolio. Uh, some things to consider that's been, real estate investments. I really think that is a surefire way to, if you want to put some money aside to that. Historically, I guess, living in New York, if you bought property 20, 30, even 40, oh my goodness, you are in a good state of mind in terms of the value that it accumulated over the years. And it seems like it steadily rises, at least. So different areas are, I know are different, because I know there's some people who are crying in the Florida area, because I know people who have housing, who bought houses, and their value has decreased. So it does differ per area, but typically real estate investment is it's a good way to accumulate wealth. One way I like to do it, if you're not physically buying property, one way you can put money is into REIT, REIT. So you can trust an investor to actually put money into different investments, in real estate investments on your behalf, and then you can hopefully have gains that way. So that there are a couple of ways to play in the real estate market. So you may want to look into that. Mutual funds and ETFs. This is a great way if you want to, if you're a little scared, if you are scared to invest into certain stocks. Mutual funds and ETF is kind of a safer way to do that, because you have someone who is managing the money for you, over different classes and assets, and one particular product or instrument, which is the ETF or the mutual fund. So there are various mutual funds, ETFs. You can look into that. But I think as someone who may be new to investing, this is something that you should look into, mutual funds and ETFs as an option. Now, again, I guess I am in a certain age where maybe my portfolio shouldn't be. I'd still think it should still be majority stocks. But as you move older, move up, you should have a kind of move from the stock heavy to more of a fixed income bond heavy portfolio. So bonds and fixed income investments, even though I do like I mentioned, stocks, but if you are risk averse and you don't like a lot of risk, bonds and fixed income investments may be a great look for you. I remember back in the day when I talked with a lot of clients, and these people are beyond rich, a lot of them, which blew my mind, were heavy in different bonds, not really in the stocks. But they were risk. They love keeping their money, so that's probably why. So bonds and fixed income investments, government and corporate bonds are really good investments if you want to have more of a conservative investment strategy or portfolio. Definitely, those are good. Tamika Lane actually spoke about this high yield savings account. This is also for people who are new and a little scared of the market, but they want to still have or appreciate, get some kind of return. So, high yield savings accounts are a great option, and they're very easy to obtain. You can likely open one if you already have a checking account. It may be easy just to open a high yield savings account along with your checking at whatever banking institution you have. So, high yield saving accounts are a great thing. Peer-to-peer lending. If you have, and I'm going to talk about how to, if you're starting a business, and you can also invest in existing ones. Those are ways that you can invest your money. There are peer-to-peer loans. If you're looking to use other people money to invest, and even though that's what a lot of rich folks do, they don't use their own money. So you may want to look into that. It's an option, but look at those APRs and make sure whatever you choose to invest in will hopefully give you that return to pay it off, to really make it make sense. Because usually those peer-to-peer lending may have high APR. So just look at that. And I mentioned starting a business or investing in existing ones. Obviously, is a great way. You're putting money into something, but obviously long-term goals that you'll get a lot more back. So that is a great way to start investing. And then also, you may have a passion project you want to invest in, or with something that makes you happy. And that's one way you could do it. Start a business. Also, investing in precious metals. Man, this is a good start, especially gold. Who would have thought? I was just thinking, like, all the gold I used to buy, especially in the 90s when high school.
Yeah.
I mean, and I had the big hoop, like the door knockers that were like all gold and whatever. And so it's the value of the gold is so much. And I'm just so mad because someone actually stole from me like all my gold jewelry some time ago. And I just thinking, all that money that person got, whatever. Bastard. I'm sorry, everybody. I just can't stand thieves and liars.
Right.
But yeah, so gold, especially gold, it would be something that you may want to invest in, because the value seems to steadily go up and up and up over the years. So investing in precious metals could be something that could be fun too. Let's see here. So really that's all I have, just investing and try to do some research as to what rich people do. I mean, as you get more savvy with investing, because there are people that do things like front load. And a lot of people don't know this. You can front load a 529 plan, for instance. I think there's up to 17 or 18,000 a year you can put into a 529. But a lot of rich people actually front load 529 plans. You can put whatever the maximum is for the year, 17 or 18,000 times 5. They front load it, and what they do is utilize that money as it grows in the tax-free sheltered 529. They call it a trust. It grows so much over a period of years that they can use that money to send not only their kids to school, but maybe a nephew to school, whatever. They can use it for multiple purposes and for multiple people because they front loaded the money. So so different things like that, investments that you may want to do some research as to how to really make your money work for you as you become more savvy with investing. But that's all I'll say now for investing for non-investors. If you're new to the game, and I'm going to send it over to Tamika Elaine, because I need to know planning for retirement, because we're getting older now, Tamika Elaine.
Before we go there, I just wanted to read Jason's comment. Jason says he's part of an investment group with 15 friends, and each year, each of them add $3,500 into the business fund.
Nice.
And they have 2 apartments in Kenya for Airbnb, and oil well in Texas.
We need to talk this.
Yeah, I know. Mutual funds are currently starting a tequila brand, and he says sometimes we need to get together and do this thing and get in the game. 100%. I was just talking to someone about that as well, in terms of, instead of us being so competitive, like pooling together and actually working towards a similar goal. Yeah, investment clubs are a really great option. I have another friend who's in an investment club, and it's something that I've thought about, but never actually, took that step. But I think that's a great way to get into investing. It's
Awesome.
awesome, awesome, awesome. So yes, moving on to retirement, which yes, oh my gosh, like, it's something, we it's hard to think about. We have to think about it, right? We got to plan for the future. What was I gonna say? A lot of us who are, I guess employed through an actual organization, corporation, have retirement
Yeah.
vehicles that we can participate in, but and hopefully everyone is taking advantage of those. But additionally, there are other ways to add into your retirement portfolio. So, looking at retirement, just want to break it down into 5 steps in terms of planning. It's like, when do you start it? How do you calculate how much money you'll need? And then setting your priorities, and then choosing your accounts and your investments, right? Typically the rule of thumb is like when you're younger, in case you kind of spoke about this, when you're younger, you invest more aggressively, right? And then you slowly get more conservative as you approach the retirement age because you have more risk there. You don't want to be like squandering your retirement funds. So yeah, it really depends on your age, right? And then we know in terms of some of the vehicles, in terms of what you're going to get benefits from what you paid into, like Social Security, that the earliest that's going to start is like 62, but you won't necessarily get your full at that time. So you got to figure out when you're actually going to start your planning. And I don't think you're ever too young to start
No.
planning. The time value of money, the younger you start, the more you have, right?
Yeah.
The more time you have for that income to grow. So you don't have to play catch up, but it's never too late, right? It's just going to determine your retirement planning strategy. So I would suggest that everyone is working with some type of financial professional to make sure that they are meeting their goals. In terms of figuring out how much you need, you got to think about as well, like what do you expect your life to look like at retirement? Do you
Yeah.
plan to still be here in New York City? Because that picture is going to look different than whether you plan on moving, say, somewhere where the cost of living is much less, out of the country. You just got to really think about it. I know some people plan to retire overseas. What do you want to plan to do in retirement? Do you still want to travel? Because this is going to help you determine what percentage you need to. They usually tell you to think about your current income and think about your retirement savings as being you need at least between 70 and 90% of
Mhm.
your current income through retirement, right? So just to get a picture of like how much money am I going to need? And then there's retirement calculators that you can use to actually see that equation as well. You want to prioritize your goals because retirement is not the only goal that you have. So you still have savings, right? So you need to know which one, how you prioritizing both of these goals: savings, investing, retirement. There's the bunch of things that you're doing at the same time. You also want to have like that emergency fund. So
Mm.
again, it's just making sure that you're thinking about everything. In terms of choosing the best retirement vehicle, hopefully, again, if you have an employer, you're participating in, say, your 401k or whatever that retirement plan is, and matching to the maximum contribution, at least that they're adding to that. If you don't have a workplace retirement plan, you can open up your own retirement account, right? You can look into IRAs. There's no one size fits all. That's the one thing I want to make sure that, everyone has to think about their picture, whether you have children, you just have to understand what's going to be best for you and your family, what your goals are. And also I would think too, for folks that are entrepreneurs, I don't know how much, you know, they think about, like, we're entrepreneurs, but we still have jobs, right? So
Mhm.
it's like we kind of have, at least we have that retirement plan and our other vehicles. But for those who don't have an employer retirement plan. I think it's especially important that you guys are thinking about, what happens. You're not going to be working necessarily your whole life, and I don't know, depending on the business, if it's going to have residual income, or you have some type of succession plan, or whatever that looks like for you to have this income later in life. These are things that you have to consider. So there are different types of IRAs that you can look into. There's also insurance products that you can use as part of your retirement strategy. Some like annuities that can give you a steady stream of income if you're looking to make sure that you have a certain level of income during retirement. Some of them will have different riders that allow you to have some long-term care. You don't know, planning for the future. You don't know what may happen during that time. So if you want that kind of, I guess, to manage that risk, that's something that you could also add on in terms of some of your retirement vehicles. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I think that's just generally speaking, the things that you would need to consider when you're planning for retirement.
Awesome.
Yes, yes,
Awesome.
yes. Now moving on, children and teaching children about financial literacy. I know, KG, this is important to you, and these are things that you think about with your little one. I think it's really, a good topic to discuss.
Yeah, thank you, girl. Thank you, Tamika. Like, I added this because I think it is important, for those who do have children to make sure that children actually are aware. Because, a lot of times children's asking for things and they don't really understand, like how much it goes into getting or acquiring things and things of that nature, or just don't understand the mechanics. So what I like to do, and I'll spend more time with my son more so this summer. But I already started having conversations with him about like what is money and how do people use it. I would go over certain definitions like what is cash, what is income, what is budget, what is a loan, what is interest. So he's already starting to learn what these different words are and what they mean. And some of the things that other things you want to make sure children are learning. And I don't think it's ever too, early, whenever they have a basic comprehension, like what are some of the major attributes you should know about investing? Like they should know key terminologies of what is investing or investment, what's a public versus a private company, what are the differences, what is stock, what is equity, what is a dividend, what is a bond, what is the stock market. So these are different things. What are asset classes? What is volatility? So these are all things that I'm actually, going over with my son. That's why I have it written here. What is return on investment now? And all this other stuff. So I think also what you should, and it's kind of in line with the whole investing and just financial fitness, is teaching your kids what are the key facets of entrepreneurship, even if that's not their passion or their footsteps. But it doesn't hurt for them to understand what's the difference between a consumer and versus a producer. What are some key objectives or missions of business? Like, what is the mission of a business? What could it be? Company ownership models, LLC and everything else. Product, what's the difference between a product and a service? Target market, what is that? Understanding what competition is between businesses. How to do a sales forecast, or what is it? To do what is a sales forecast or a marketing plan, how to get startup funding, financial plan. So having children have a basic understanding of some of these words. And so also I would encourage you to have, activities with your child, like encourage different things, like encourage children to invest part of their allowance into a stock market, stock based upon a product or service. So, if your kids love Jordan, all the time, so yeah, give them sneakers, but also say, why don't you put part of that money into Nike? And then, so you can look at it grow, and then you can look at it from time to time, and they like, oh, I made some money, and they'll get excited about that. So start that from young. So encouraging, if you do provide an allowance, them putting a little bit of it into a particular stock that they like, and encourage children to start their own business based upon their interests. That is key. Don't tell them what to do. Just like you just encourage whatever they like to do and put that into a realm of a business. So yeah, it is fruitful to encourage children to take calculated risks from an early age. So when they get to an adult, they won't be so scared to make those jumps. Like I was, I've been wanting to make jumps in certain things for years, but I was fearful. But if I have that kind of grounding since a child, then please, you fail, you just learn from your failures and keep going. So yeah, so it's good to encourage children to take those calculated risks from a young age. But I think that's a really good thing, just to also get children involved with financial literacy.
Exactly. And there's certain apps I know. Stockpile is an app where you can do like fractional, share investing, and
Yes.
they definitely emphasize like parents and kids kind of growing together. So that could be, using some type of app like that would be a good way to get your kids engaged. And you mentioned teaching them about entrepreneurship. I was watching one of those like morning shows on a Sunday. I forget what it was. And the author of this book, Make Your Own Money, How Kids Can Earn It, Save It, Spend It, and Dream Big with Danny Dollar, the king of cha-ching. It just seems like such a good way to get kids to understand entrepreneurship. And I actually gifted it to, a friend's child.
That's nice.
And there's another one, it's called The Lemonade Escapade. Again, another Danny Dollar. So
Danny
Black
Dollar.
authors. Yeah. So I just think, there are ways to also, you want kids to read and, get them engaged and also learn about investing and entrepreneurship. So I'm just looking into different books to actually help them along as well.
Okay, I'm gonna look into. Thank you, Tamika Lynn. I'm gonna look into
Yeah.
Danny Dollar. So I guess
Yeah.
it's children friendly. I mean, making
Yeah,
it.
these are Danny Dollar is a young boy.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Writing his own books. Go ahead, Danny Dollar.
No. I'm saying the character, Danny
Oh,
Dollar.
it's
That's
a
the
cat. Okay, I'm
character. That's not the
sorry.
author.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's been a day.
Yes, the author, I'm looking here, by Ty Allen Jackson, and Nicole Miles is the illustrator. So Ty
Oh,
Allen Jackson is the author.
okay. What's the name of the author again? I'm sorry.
Ty Ty Allen Allan Jackson.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, and so I think this is like a series with Danny Dollar, so you can check out the books that he has. So would
Awesome.
definitely be interested to see how your little one, if you get it, if he enjoys them. So
Yeah, yeah, that'd be great because he really enjoys reading. So I'm hoping it'll keep his interest. So
and the
I,
little
I
boy,
will look
looks
into
like him. He'll see a little boy that looks like him. You know what I mean? So
it.
even better.
Okay, girl. Well, this has been a really good, a fruitful episode. I'm learning, and you see, I'm taking notes too. So, but before we end today, another way to invest in yourself, and you can invest in yourself by, rejuvenating yourself and making sure you look good and getting photographed and everything else. So, another way to invest in yourself is to work with Fly High and get a Glamscape package. So I just wanted to really put that out there that we can provide you with a very wholesome and valuable day that will make you the star of the show. So if you are interested, there are links above if you're in Facebook as well as YouTube. So go ahead and book a consult call. And we hope to hear from you soon. But
Yes.
outside of that, this has been a great show, everyone. And we look forward to talking with you next week.
Yes, and give us your feedback as always. Thanks,
Yeah.
everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.